This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to the class. Can you all see the screen and hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I can hear you all. Thank you for confirming. Please keep muted to avoid any backgrounds, any noise from our end. If you have any questions, you can unmute and speak out. So thank you all once again for joining. Before proceeding further, let me introduce myself. I'm Preeti here. I'll be the instructor for this course, and I have more than 12 years of experience into IT, played different roles in IT operations, and I have got a good expertise working with the different DevOps tools, have worked on multiple projects, designing the delivery pipelines in DevOps. And that's a brief about myself. Before getting into the actual topic, actual course content, let me tell you a few things which you need to remember, and let me tell you the agenda of this course. The main agenda of this training is so that the participants can crack their interviews on DevOps, and whoever want to switch their career into DevOps, this is the right choice, because the course is created with the agenda that you can all crack your interviews. Like, the agenda is we work on the real scenarios, okay, implementing all the tools in the DevOps approach. We'll be learning different DevOps concept, DevOps strategies, and we'll be working on the CI/CD pipelines on multiple applications. And we'll work on scenarios which will be very close to your real environments so that you can put them into action. Right, that's a main agenda, and by now I think you all might be aware of it. The market was very good, that too particularly for DevOps. There were lot many openings. Whoever want to switch their career, whoever want to step into this DevOps strategies, whoever want to learn them to improvise your work experience, maybe you might be already working in DevOps, or else you are completely new to DevOps. If you want to enhance your learning, or else if you want to learn what is it all about and master the content, that's the course for. Okay, the training will be practical oriented, covering the interview questions when we are discussing any topic. Okay, that's how we'll proceed. So requesting your attention for 1.5 hours here today, so that you will get a complete clarity on what all the things will be learned. Okay, so let's get started. And if you have any questions, any concerns, any questions you have, you need to know, anything you need to know, you can put your queries. Okay, first let me tell you, like I said, the course, every topic, every tool will be learning here, and it's not just learn the tool, move on. We'll learn that and also we'll implement the tool. Okay, it's not just learning each tool separately. We'll learn each tool and put them together in the CI/CD pipeline demonstration. Okay, so that it will be beneficial for you. So let's get started. And it's a 2 months course. Every day it will be 1.5 hour session. Okay, so, and one more thing is, like, I have many students who have got their jobs into DevOps after this training. This training needs your effort. Definitely your effort is needed. Every day it is a complete hands-on course. Today we'll be having some theoretical discussion, but tomorrow on it will be completely hands-on. Every day you should do the hands-on. You should put your effort, complete your hands-on, and stay motivated till the end. Just use this 2 months completely with a dedication to master the course. Then the rest of the things goes on, right? So like I said, there were many participants of mine who got selected, who have got multiple offers also in the hand right now for DevOps. So just concentrate, put your effort, and put your time and effort and learn the things, master the things. That's all you have to do. So let's move on now. Today we'll be talking about DevOps overview. Means we'll be getting a high level or a big picture of what DevOps is all about. What is it? Why we should learn it? Who should learn? What are the roles and responsibilities of a DevOps person? What would be I doing if I'm a developer till now? Let's say I'm 10 years working, and 10 years experience professional. I'm working as a developer. Can I switch to DevOps? Isn't it? These were the more general questions you might be having, right? So what do I do if I move to DevOps? Am I eligible? Let's say I'm a non-IT guy. Can I go into DevOps? So what would be I doing if I switch into DevOps? All these questions will be answered today. like the roles, the responsibilities, what are the skill set we need as a DevOps person, who are eligible. All these questions will be answered. So stay with me for the next 1.5 hours. We'll be going through the process. So let's begin. Yeah, like I said, this is the agenda for today's class. We'll be getting a big picture of DevOps. Please keep muted. Everyone mute your mics. I'll ask for the questionnaire, okay? Whenever I ask for the questions, you can unmute and speak out. Until then, please keep muted. A request from my end. So today's agenda is, let's get a big picture of DevOps, okay? Like what is DevOps, what it does, why do we need it? And then roles and responsibilities. We'll also talk about the DevOps delivery pipeline. See, in the job descriptions, if you go through, you'll be looking into something like CI/CD pipeline, right? You should have experience on working with the CI/CD pipeline. What is it that exactly? Okay. What are all the tools and skills? We'll be going through this. So let's begin. Yeah. Before stepping into any other things like tools or anything, first let us analyze what is DevOps. Okay, first let us understand what DevOps is all about. Some of you might be knowing it, right? Because it's a buzzword in the industry. Maybe you all might be aware of it. Let's go. Like I said, every topic will be going from the basics. Assuming we are all new, let's go from the basics and we'll proceed. So let's talk about, first let us analyze what is this DevOps. See, by seeing this, you can see it's a combination of two terms, development and operations. But again, what is that? Why they were combined? What is this DevOps? Let's see. To understand this better, let us talk about an application. Take any application which we use in our daily life. Maybe some Facebook application or a Netflix or else Amazon, any application or any social networking website like Instagram. Take up any application of your choice. Okay, or else some banking application, okay, which we use for our personal banking every day. So take up some application. And if you just think about how this application is developed, or else how we are getting this application, how you are seeing this application, there's a lot of processes, lot many things happening at the back end. You are using some application as an end user, means it has gone through so many processes, so many stages, and we are seeing it, correct? So what are the phases it has gone through? What are the operations it has undergone through? And also let us talk about the important teams who work for developing an application, right? Of course, there were so many people, so many teams who work for this application. Here, let us talk about the main teams or the major teams called development team, QA team means testing team, and operations team. Okay, like I said, let's go from the basics. We all know what is a development team, but yeah, let's analyze who are developers or what do they do. Developers are nothing but programmers or else who write the code, right? They may use some programming languages like C#, .NET, PHP, Java, whatever it is. We are not bothered about it. I'm just telling you the cycle of things, what happens here. So yeah, they write the program. Developers are a team of people who work on the program. They write some code, they write some logic. They also work on understanding the requirements, requirement analysis. They work on understanding the requirements given by the client. They write the code, they develop, they design the application, they develop the application. These are all the major things which a development team does, right? Also, if some errors, some bugs are there, they'll fix it. So that's what they does. Now coming to QA team, they are testing the application, right? Once developers write the code, QA team will test the application. Again, there are different types of testing like automation testing, manual testing. Again, in automation, so many tools were there, right? Different levels of testing were there. So again, it's again a complete different subject. So they test the application. In single word, let me tell you, they test the application, correct? If they find any faults or any bugs, they'll report developers. Developer fix it, and it goes on, right? So this is what QA team or testing team does. They may use some tools, some automation testing here, whatever it is. So that's a major task they do. Now let's talk about operations team. Who are the people involved here? Like this team will be taking care of the servers, correct? Servers are nothing but, you can imagine if any non-IT person is there, servers are nothing but like huge computers where development or testing, any operations goes on, right? So they'll take care of services running on those servers, they'll check the networks, they'll take care of the logins, access, all this would be taken care by ops team. In simple, we can say infra management will be taken care by them, right? And who are the people involved here? They might be admins, network technicians, DBA. These are all the different people involved here, right? So this is how different teams work. Of course, there are many other teams. We are just talking about the major teams. So this is what it is. And imagine, let's suppose, okay, developers need some changes. Let's say they want to develop some code, they want to develop some new feature, right? If they have to perform their task successfully, they need some infrastructure, right? Like some servers, services they need. Also, they may need some changes to be done to the infrastructure. Same is the case with the testers also. To perform their task, they need some infrastructure, some changes they may have to perform. So whenever they need any changes to the infrastructure, or else if they need any modifications, anything, they would request the ops teams. Correct? Means because ops teams are a separate team who will take care of this infrastructure management. And yes, ops teams should serve the request of these teams by providing their infrastructure requirements. Right? So before ops teams serve the request, ops teams will make lot many checks, because if some change is made, they should be means if any change is made and if this change is bringing any effect on the existing infrastructure, ops teams should be ready to handle it. Means they should be ready to handle if something goes wrong. So they perform lot many checks to see the server still remains stable, services still working, networks are connected, networks are still connected, network connection is still there. All these checks they should perform before they provide the changes developers request for, right? Definitely this takes a lot of time. Yeah. So meanwhile, developers are still waiting for the change. And ops teams definitely will take some time to support them by providing the requests, by providing the changes they need, right? So what happens here? Each team, let's talk about development team or QA team or ops team, each team is working in silos, in separation. Means they don't know why developer team or QA team doesn't know why ops team is taking so much time to serve their request, right? Similarly, ops team doesn't know why developers need the change. They just tell, okay, this is the change we need, and they should work for it. So they're working in isolation, they're working in separation. So each team doesn't know why they need them or what are they requesting for. Whatever they request, they have to provide, that's all. So, and they don't understand why they are taking a lot of time. Similarly, ops teams don't understand why they are requesting such changes. Means here, developers always need some agility in the infrastructure to perform their tasks. Means some changes. Ops teams will always take care of stability. Means infrastructure, servers should be always stable and running. So that's where they'll be looking for. What happens then? There arises some gap between this dev team and ops team. Of course, in this dev, I'm including QA also. So there arises some gap because each team doesn't understand the challenges of others. It doesn't understand the requirements of other teams. So there's a gap between the team. There is no proper collaboration. There's no proper communication between them. And here another thing is, here development team, QA team, ops team, each are working for the same process of development of an application. They're working in the same process, but each team has got their skills different. Means developers will have some programming knowledge, they'll be having some database knowledge. QA team, they will be having some testing tools knowledge, some test case writing and all. Means their core skills, their core competencies are different. Ops teams will be working on administration tasks, configuring the servers and so on. Their core skills, their core competencies are different, but still they are working in the same process. Because their core skills, competencies are different, still they are working in the same process, there arises some gap between the teams. Okay, so now the question is, how to eliminate this gap between the teams, right? We are talking about why DevOps came in, how to overcome this gap between the teams. That's one reason. Another reason is not only this. See here, what happens? Please listen here carefully. In few minutes, we'll talk about DevOps, what actually it is. So if we talk about development team, yeah, like I said, they write the code, and once the coding is done, they'll testers will test the application, and if testers finds any bugs or defects, means some faults in the application, they'll report it to developers. Developers will fix it, and this process continues till the application is defect free or bug free. Okay, let's suppose, okay, application is defect free, bug free, everything is tested. Now, yeah, okay, application is all ready. They can provide the application to end users, right? End users means the final users of the application, right? If I'm using some application like some hdfcbanking.com, so I'm an end user of the application, right? I may have some account, I may be using it. So they have to provide the application to the end users, which is called releasing the application. Formally, it's called release. So how do they release? Once the application is developed, tested, once it is completely ready, they'll hand over it to the ops teams. See, I'm talking about traditional approach. We didn't go to DevOps yet. Okay, so they'll hand over the application to operations team. So now what operations team should do? Once developers hand it over to ops team, they have to take care of running the application. Correct? Means that's called deploying the application on the servers. So they have to configure the servers. And tell me one thing, is it enough if they deploy it on one server? Let's take up some application like Instagram or a Facebook or a Netflix. Do you think it is running on just a single server? Yes, you can unmute and answer.
No,
Definitely
it's
it would be deployed on huge number of,
Oh,
isn't it? Huge number
yes,
of
it's
servers.
deployed many servers. Yes.
Ops teams should take care of configuring the infrastructure, right? They should configure the servers. Also, they should prepare the servers. They should configure them. Also, let's suppose this application is Java application. So all the Java requirements should be installed on it. Also, the right versions of the software should be installed, isn't it? Right version of Java which is compatible to the application. So they have to install all the softwares. They have to take care of installing the right versions of the softwares. And if something goes wrong, they should be able to troubleshoot it. Not only that, operations team should take care of seeing that application doesn't see any downtime, isn't it? What is meant by downtime? Sometimes application becomes unavailable for end users, right? So this should not be happening. This is not allowed in reality, isn't it? So there should not be any downtime. Something should not go wrong. Application should be always stable and ready. Something should not be broken. All this should be taken care by ops team, right? Means let's say developers handle them their application in the month of January. This may take some couple of months. Not only this, okay, let's say, yeah, this take a couple of months. Let's say by June, the application might be available for end users. Means a lot of time for deployment because they have to take care of all these steps. Not only that, developers when handing over the application, they'll also hand over some instruction document because they know, right, which version of Java they have used and all. So they'll provide this instruction document, but still this instruction document may not be completely understood by ops team because like I said, there are two separate teams with the core skills and core different knowledge, different areas of expertise. So whatever instructions they have given may not be completely understood by the other team, or else there might be some mistakes, some corrections may have needed with the latest versions, or else they might have provided the steps for Windows servers. They may have to deploy it on other servers like Linux and so on. So there are so many things that need to be considered, which eventually slow down the process of deployment. Deployment slows down. Not only this, let's suppose it's a completely new application. This is for the first time, it took 6 months. Not only that, let's say on this new application, they made some new modifications. Okay, some new feature is released. Let's take a Facebook, a new feature is to be released. Again, for the say new feature to work, they have to configure all of them because the new feature should be working on it. Means every feature to reach the end users, it's taking lot of time for deployment, isn't it? All this is happening because two separate teams are working with no proper collaboration, no proper understanding. So what are the problems here? First problem, like we discussed, there's a gap between the teams. And the second problem is deployments become slower, right? Slow deployments because of this. And yeah, there are and also there were so many problems because of the traditional software methodologies. We'll talk about in a while. So these are all the problems why DevOps came in. To overcome all these problems, yes, DevOps came into picture. Means what DevOps can do. See here, once code is ready, okay, developers are ready with the code. They have written the code. It was tested by QA team. Now, in the traditional approaches, they are handing the application to separate team called operations team. But now, once coding is done or once code is ready, they'll hand over this application to DevOps team. So, what is a DevOps team? DevOps team is nothing but who knows the after process of development. Means once developers wrote the code, testers are ready with the test cases. How to automate the process of deployment? That is what is DevOps. Means this complete process is automated from the desk of a developer till it reaches the production table. The whole process automated. In this process of automation, so many tools are involved, so many strategies are involved, so many concepts, DevOps concepts are involved. Okay, how do you automate it? By using the tools, by using the strategies and concepts. So such a team who will work on this automation process after development is nothing but a DevOps team, right? Means suppose let's say a feature is developed, it could immediately hit the production servers automatically. But how to automate it? What are the phases? What are the stages involved here? This is where a DevOps person will work. Got it now? So what are the advantages of it? What are the advantages? Why we should have such an approach? The advantage is deployments becomes faster. That's what companies need, isn't it? Deployments are faster, whole process is automated, 24/7 automation possible, complete workflow is automated, right? So there is no separate team like operations team. There is a DevOps team. Developers will hand over the code to DevOps team. DevOps team knows the after process of development, how to take it to production table. That's why we are seeing the new features in our application. See, we were using so many applications in our daily life. Give a thought here. Have you ever wondered how we are seeing so many features? Like, how can you see a new feature in the overnight? Isn't it? Take, for example, some Instagram. You might be seeing a new feature maybe in an overnight. How could that happen? Right? Deployments have become faster whenever a new feature is developed by developers. Okay, developers, let's say they have developed some new feature. Okay, testers will write test cases for it. Now, DevOps team will take care of it, automate the build process, run those test cases automatically, and deploy. Of course, deploy first to lower environments and then to the higher level environments. That's how you are seeing all the features overnight very fast. Deployments have become faster and the whole process automated, 24/7 automation possible. The complete workflow is automated. This complete automation workflow is called the CI/CD pipeline, right? So initially to design this pipeline, yes, 6 or 7 people might be working. As an example, let's say once this pipeline is designed, no manual intervention, just 1 or 2 people are enough, right? That is gaining a lot of this kind of DevOps is gaining a lot of importance. Almost all the companies are stepping into. Already you might have heard the gigantic companies are already implementing it, like Netflix, Amazon, Facebook. They are already implementing this approach. In the coming 2 years, in the coming future, almost every company will step into it. So the person with these skills will survive in the market. So what you should know? You should know this DevOps concepts, the strategies, the tools used to automate this. If you are able to automate this, means yes, you have a great job perspective. So the skilled people will survive in the market in the coming future. So this is the right time to invest your time, invest your effort to learn such a technologies. Okay, market was very good. Lot of job openings are there for freshers as well as for experienced people as well as for freshers. So learn this, master these tools, master the subject. You have a really great job perspective, right? So yeah, coming back, we were talking about why DevOps came in. Why DevOps came in to eliminate the gap between the teams, so that there should be a team who can understand the after process, right? Who should understand the requirements of other teams. So eliminate the gap, collaborate the teams, automate the complete workflow, also overcome the drawbacks posed by software methodologies. We'll talk about those drawbacks in a while. So this is why DevOps came in. Got an idea, all of you? Understood this much? Any questions in this part? Understood why DevOps came in? A quick confirmation will help me. You can message in the chat window or unmute.
Yes, as of now, no
Yes,
doubt.
yes, madam. We are following. You can proceed for further topic. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thanks for confirming. So this is why DevOps came in. Also, let's talk about the drawbacks posed by software methodologies. DevOps is also a methodology. Okay, it's a methodology. It's not any tool. Okay, it's not any tool or a software or a technology or a language. It's a methodology. Means it's a concept. Okay, so it has overcome the traditional methodologies like waterfall methodology and agile methodology. You don't need to learn them, but let's see what are the drawbacks posed by these methodologies before we step into what actually DevOps is. We were trying to understand why DevOps came in. Like I said, yeah, there were some software methodologies, SDLC. I believe every one of you know SDLC. Software Development Lifecycle. If you are new here also, no worries. Just listen, follow along, you'll be fine. So yeah, it's nothing but a methodology which includes different stages like requirement analysis, first gathering the requirements from the client, analyze the requirements, analysis, design the application, coding and testing, right? So these are the different stages and they goes like each phase goes one after the other, and hence it's named as waterfall. Like I'm talking about the basic methodology, waterfall methodology. This methodology has posed challenges for both development team and operations team. Both the teams face challenges because of this methodology, right? Can you tell me what are some of the drawbacks faced by developers because of this waterfall methodology? Anyone, what are the
It's
drawbacks of waterfall methodology?
you have to do like a step by step. Means once development complete, then only testing will start. Then only it will go to
Yeah,
the
some
after
of the
testing it will go
drawbacks
to the
are like,
production.
correct.
Actually, it's a slow process. No new changes can be done.
Yes, it's a slow methodology. Okay, means let's suppose coding is completed in January. Testing might be started in after 2 months, let's say in March. Then developers will be still working, means they might be started working on new code. Then testers start testing the old code. Okay, they'll be finding the bugs in the old code and reporting them to developers. Developers have to work on this new code as well as they have to fix the bugs in the old code, which will be a lot of challenging to work on two different sets or two different versions of the code. It's a slow methodology. Testing is not done immediately. If testing is done at a later stages, obviously it takes a lot of time consuming methodology. See, just understand it's a slow methodology. Okay. Also, not flexible enough, meaning, see here, this is a major drawback. Like in waterfall methodology, let's say you have got the requirements in 2022. Once clients give the requirements will be freezed. No more modifications, no new requirements will be accepted. And the product will be all delivered at once in 2 years, maybe in 2024. Meanwhile, if client said, okay, we need some modification, we need some change, no, they will not be accepted. Means let's suppose they are writing the code. They cannot go back and analyze and design again. No going back, and hence the name waterfall. It just goes only this direction. But these days, it's a customer facing world. Requirements always changes. New requirements might be coming up, right? It's a customer facing world. So if they cannot accept the requirements within these 2 years and deliver it completely by 2024, client may not need it anymore, right? Business might have changed it completely. So there's another problem. I mean, not flexible. Also, complete software will be delivered all at once after 2 years, which doesn't work in reality. Nowadays, it doesn't work, right? So these are the challenges, some of the challenges faced by developers. Similarly, ops teams also face challenges. As is a slow methodology, servers should be maintained. Servers should be running all this time. Means they should maintain the server uptime for longer duration. Maintaining servers healthy, running always for longer duration would be again challenge when the complete process is going to be manual. No tools were used here. So another challenge, poor configuration management. Configuration management is a separate concept. We'll discuss it separately when we talk about Ansible, Terraform. Just understand here configuring the servers. Let's say you have 100 servers. If you want to install something there, if you want to make any changes, you cannot just log in to each server and do it manually, right? So poor configuration management, poor monitoring. You cannot monitor all the infrastructure manually without using any tools. So these are all some of the challenges posed by this waterfall methodology. Both the teams, development team, ops team, face lot many challenges. How to overcome these challenges again? Yes. How to overcome these challenges?
Using agile methodology.
Yeah, actually, to overcome these challenges, another methodology called Agile methodology came in. Agile methodology came in to overcome the challenges, but it was successful only in overcoming challenges faced by development team. But challenges of ops team were still there. So there again, we need a methodology which can overcome challenges of both, isn't it? That's where DevOps came in. Okay, DevOps is a methodology which can overcome challenges posed by both the teams, right? So yeah, we'll talk about DevOps. Before that, because we discussed Agile, let me give some understanding here. See, Agile methodology, in Agile, complete software will not be delivered after 2 years. Okay, in Agile methodology, software will be developed in bits and chunks, like say in bits and parts. And always, every week or every alternative week, there might be a release. Means they'll deploy the application with the new features every week or every alternative week. Code is always stable and ready for deployment, right? Because it implements, means because of this, it could overcome challenges of developers, but challenges of operations were still there. Means let me talk about here. How could they release the application every week? Every week, how can they deploy? How can they develop it? I mean, release the features. See, in Agile, if you take a week one, a chunk of code, a bit of code will be developed here, A. Right? On week two, this particular chunk of code will be immediately going for testing. Meanwhile, developers will not sit idle. They will be developing another chunk of code. Again, on week three, this B will be tested. Developers will be working on another bit of code. So code is developed in bits and parts. Also, in some week, complete code will be merged, integrated, and tested. Right? Means if you notice, every week development, testing are happening. Right? Means testing and development are happening parallelly, iteratively, which is called continuous development, continuous testing, and any changes will be merged into the system and test the whole system again. Isn't it? Any new changes should be merged and tested again with the complete set, right? So that's what is continuous integration, right? Continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration. Agile implements this concept, but after integration, complete code will be deployed all at once, right? Where it is lagging. So operations challenges were still there, right? Got it, everyone? So that's how Agile was successful to some extent, but not to the complete extent, right? So that's where again DevOps came in, where it can overcome challenges of all. So why DevOps came in again, summarizing it, to overcome the gap, to eliminate the drawbacks posed by traditional methodologies, and to automate the complete workflow. So now what is DevOps? It's a methodology which includes continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and continuous monitoring. Let me compare this with other methodologies to understand this. If you take up waterfall methodology, you have the main phases like development, testing, deployment, and monitor. Each happens one after the other. Means complete development will be done, then only it will be tested, then deployed, then monitor it. It may take a lot of time for end users to see the application or a new feature. But if you take Agile, continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, then deploy it all at once again, then monitor. Okay. And if you talk about DevOps now, it is lagging here. But here in DevOps, continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous monitoring. The term continuous is important because, like I said, any change developer make, of course, a potential change. Okay, any valid change, a potential change made by developers will be tested, integrated into the system. Okay, test it again, deploy it to lower environments first, like test environments, staging environments, then production. Okay, so deploy to production and then monitor. Every feature will go through the process. Every feature is going through the process means you can expect obviously qualitative products, isn't it? Because every change is going through the whole process. Quality is improved, velocity of deployments increased, the speed of deployments increased. Yeah, also complete automation possible. Any change could be deployed immediately, right? There might be some immediate emergency. They have to develop a new feature. They have to deploy it, provide it to end users, because let's say like a pandemic cases, there might be some emergency. Overnight, they have to deploy a feature. Yes, that's what we need now. DevOps is the strategy implemented. Facebook is the best example for DevOps strategies. Yeah, you could see a new feature overnight, right? That's because of this DevOps strategy. DevOps implementation means any change made will hit the production servers automatically. Automatically in the sense, of course, it is tested thoroughly, deployed to testing, staging, then to production automatically without any manual intervention. It sounds risky and challenging, right? But yeah, that's how the applications are working in nowadays. That's how you can see the changes very faster, and we are seeing such a quality applications. So understood now what is DevOps and why DevOps came in. And where do you fit in? Let's suppose you are a developer. You want to work in DevOps methodology. Yes. If you want to move to DevOps, yes. From now onwards, you will not develop the application. You will not write code for the application. Rather, you will work in this automation process of taking it to production. Right? Similarly, you might be tester till now. You might be working on test cases. But now if you are working in the DevOps approach, you will be seeing or working, you should be able to work at any stage in this automation process. So many stages are there here again: build process, test process, deployment process, automating, provisioning the infrastructure, monitoring, and so on. So you will be working here. Development team will be a separate team. Testers will be separate. Testing team will be there who will write test cases and hand over the test case to DevOps. Developers will write the code, hand it over to DevOps team. So you should be working in these stages of automation. So what are the roles of a DevOps person? Automating this process. You will be working in this automation process. Am I clear? Any ambiguity here? Anywhere if you are missing clarity, any questions? Understood? Till now we have got an understanding of why DevOps came in and what is it all about. How to implement it? We'll learn from tomorrow with a complete hands-on. We'll implement it and learn.
Preeti, I have a question.
Hmm.
You have mentioned about the a developer guy who wants to come into DevOps and do his part. Can you put some light on other people? I mean, other streams of I'm a Windows administration guy, Windows and virtualization. Now, if I think of jumping onto DevOps, maybe gradually or maybe kickstart with this course, how well does that guy suit in this stream, and how does he develop this DevOps skills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got your question. So see, whether you are a developer, you might be a developer for 10 years, or else you are an admin person, you are Windows admin person, or else you are a tester. Whoever you are, okay, you might be working on different streams, different technologies till now. But if you want to switch into DevOps, see here what a DevOps person does. Once developer is ready with the code, okay, and like they have got the code ready, test cases are ready, test cases are written by testers, they will hand over it to DevOps team. So let's say you are now here in this team, okay, you are a Windows admin till now, you might be a Windows admin, might be there here, okay, irrespective of your previous role, or else a developer might be there. All of you, all of us, whoever in a DevOps team will be working in this process of automation. Means you need not write the code as a developer. Developers team will be there, again a separate developer team. Tester team will be there. They'll write the code, they'll write the test cases. They'll hand over it to you, to our team as a DevOps team. Let's say our team is having a Windows admin, our team is having a developer, whoever you are. He might be a tester, he might be a fresher. You should be knowing this process of automation. Means once code is given, what you should do first, it should be built. How do you build it? By using some build automation tool like Maven. Okay, once builds are done, automatically the test cases should be executed. These test cases will be executed here. Let's say the test case are written in Selenium or UFT. Okay, then once testing, it should be deployed by using what tools? Docker will be used here, Kubernetes will be used, Ansible, Terraform for the infrastructure provisioning. Okay, by using all the tools, we should be able to automate it. Then finally monitor it using some Prometheus. So you might be a Windows admin, or you might be a developer, or you might be a tester, you might be from a database, you might be a database admin. If you know these tools, and if you can automate the code till it goes to production, you are eligible for this. Means you should learn these tools irrespective of your previous stream, previous technologies, previous environment. You should know these tools and the process of automating the application to deployment to production. So if you know these tools and strategies, yes, you are eligible to work as a DevOps person.
Madam, all the tools are part of this course.
All the
CPs, all the tools, whatever you are explaining now, are the part of this course.
Yes, of course. We are going to learn all these tools. Maven will be learning. We'll be learning how to run Selenium. You need not learn writing test cases. You will not learn writing a code, because those are done by separate teams. Here, once code is available, how do you build it? How do you run the test cases given by testers? How do you deploy it? By using all these tools will be covered in this. So that's what you will be able to work in the projects in this automation process. I'll take you through the tools which are all will be learning.
So Kubernetes and
Sorry, one more.
Terraform and Ansible are covering in depth, madam.
All the tools will be covered in depth. Okay, from basics till advanced concepts will be covered. Particularly Kubernetes, Terraform, yes, we'll be covering them in all the advanced concepts. The reason, because there were lot many job opportunities for Kubernetes, Terraform alone. Means, see, if you learn Kubernetes and Terraform, if you master them, there are a lot of job openings. If you master in 1 month is too big time duration to master those. Yes, we'll be covering all of them.
We heard there is a one certification on the Kubernetes with the Linux combination. Can we go for the after the learning this course, madam?
Please mute yourself so that everyone can hear my voice. After asking your question, please keep muted. Yeah. So yeah, all this will be a majority of that is DevOps tools needs Linux platform. So yes, we'll be covering Linux basics in the course, whichever we need. Linux basics, shell scripting basics, all of them will be covered, whichever required. Any more questions?
So for Linux, we have to install Linux. Actually, I'm using Windows.
I'll talk about the lab setup, Vishal. Just give me a few minutes. I'll take you through the complete lab setup, the skill set and all. Okay?
Yeah, Preeti, I
Just
have a
wait for a
question
minute.
actually.
Huh?
Yeah, that's fine. But I have another question.
Mm. Tell me, please.
In DevOps, we done all three parts individually, right? Like development and testing and operation. After
All the
DevOps,
mm.
three phases
Mm.
I'll be done by myself, right? Stand.
What things? No, developers will write the code. Okay, testers will be writing the test cases. DevOps team will be a separate team. Okay, whenever developer write the code, means let's say this week developers have developed a chunk, they'll hand over it to the DevOps team. They will take this code, they'll automate the build on this code, they'll automate the test case execution, they will deploy this new feature. Hello,
Yeah.
understood?
No. Actually, I'm not understood.
Repeat your question. You're talking about there are three phases. Repeat your question.
Uh, DevOps, that means development and QA and operations, right?
Hmm.
Right. So I'm a developer. After completing DevOps, that means ki I'm testing.
See, if you are a developer, please 1 minute. If you are a developer, you are in the development team. You are not in a DevOps team. Okay, you have a development team, you have a QA team, you have a DevOps team. If you are a developer, you are just confined to writing the code. That's all. If you are a DevOps person, you are previously you might be a developer, you might have developer experience, but now you are a DevOps person. You don't write the code, you take this code to deployment to production servers, you work in this automation process. Now put your question again. If you still have the same question, put your question again. Still the same question you have?
if I'm a developer, right, and I'm
Okay.
learning DevOps,
Mm. Mm.
still I'm doing only development programming. So
No,
why I'm
if you
going
are
for?
if you are a developer, okay, you are a developer earlier, now you want to switch, you are in the DevOps team, means you don't write the code now, code will be written by separate developer team. You are a DevOps person now, you will be working on automation process of taking it to deployment. Still
But I
confusion
don't.
there? Hmm.
No, I don't want to move
Okay,
operation team.
okay.
I just grab all these things individually. So that is why no, I'm moving to DevOps.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, programming and
So what is the question?
because
Can you please put your question? You
my
are a
question
developer.
is DevOps. That means we performing development and QA and operations. I think that was my question actually.
If you are a developer, that's what I'm answering. If you are a developer, you write the code. If you are in a development team, you just write the code. That's all. You are confined here. If you are a developer, but if you learn DevOps and if you move to this team, your role will be automating the code to production. This will be your task here. If you are still in development team, your task is to just write the code. If you still have any confusion on this, let's discuss at the end of the class again. Okay, put your question
Okay,
on hold. We'll discuss this again at the end.
okay.
So coming to
Hello,
HPM
Priti.
presentation, yes. Anyone, Harish?
Yeah, I have a question. If you are suppose into non-IT background, previously we are working in non-IT like in telecom networking, like in that domain. Can we switch
Okay.
to this by keeping
Yes.
experience like two, three, two plus
Yeah,
three
you
plus
have,
experience?
if you learn all these tools and strategies, you can claim at least 3 to 4 years of experience. But you have to
Okay.
showcase them in the projects. Okay, whatever projects you have done, you have to showcase them in the projects with some experience, or else you can go as a fresher also. If you want to showcase some experience, put some projects in a resume and you can showcase.
So you will explain the projects also. Yeah.
Yes, we'll be discussing some projects here in the course.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Suppose we can go as a fresher, right? If you have other 3 years of non-IT experience also.
Non-IT experience would be different. It will not come under IT experience.
No, I'm asking like, can I go as a fresher now, even though if I have another experience?
Yeah, you can. You have previous experience. You might be working in other streams, other domains. You can get into DevOps. Yes, you can.
Okay, sure.
All right. So let us recollect or revise the things we have discussed. Like there might be a dev team, ops team. We have discussed this waterfall methodology. Whatever we have discussed were there in the documentation in this presentation. I will share you this presentation with you so that for your reference, like a notes, the drawbacks to why DevOps came in, all the points I have written here. So what is Agile? Differences between Agile, Waterfall and DevOps. See, in Waterfall, you see designing, then coding, testing and deployment. But in Agile, if you see, there was continuous development, continuous testing. See, they were repetitive and deployment was all at once at the end. Okay, whereas in Agile with continuous deployment, you have design, coding, testing, deployment was also iterative. See here, it's not deployed after the complete development after 1 or 2 years. Every new feature could be deployed multiple times a day, also possible. So that is what is DevOps. That's how DevOps is gaining importance by increasing the velocity of deployments and by improving the quality of the products. So what are the roles? Like we discussed, we'll be working, a DevOps person will be working in the automation process of taking the code till deployment, where everything is automated. And so to automate this, we need to learn certain strategies, certain tools, isn't it? So what are the tools we need to learn? What are the strategies? Let's have a look at this. See here, different version control systems are there. We'll be learning Git here. There are many other version control systems, like you might have heard about, like you have SVN, TFS and so on. And you need not learn all other tools in the category. Okay, you master one tool in the category, you'll be all good. Okay, master, expertise one tool under each category. Also here I'm covering the tools which are widely used in the market, so that you get chances of working with them. More projects are there on Git, so you get more chances to work in the project. So Git will be covered. Am I good? Is the audio part good? Any disturbance in the audio?
Not to be.
No, no
No.
disturbances.
No,
Okay.
it is clear.
See, whoever
It's
having
no.
any disturbance, please once try to rejoin. Okay, once rejoin the webinar, it should be fine. It was good from my end. Please check once from your end also. So we'll be covering Git. Okay, again, if you take up Git from basics till advanced concepts will be covered. Almost all the interview questions will be covered in Git. Okay, so that's the first tool. Then build automation tool Maven will be covered. Jenkins for continuous integration, continuous deployments, a build orchestrator, Jenkins, Docker, Ansible and Terraform, both of them will be covered. Like I said, Terraform, Ansible, Kubernetes. These are the very important tools. Of course, again, Prometheus. Okay. So, of course, to learn Kubernetes, you should know Docker anyway. So, like I said, we'll be spending some week or more than on each tool. Okay, we'll spend enough time on each tool so that we master each tool before proceeding. Kubernetes, even Docker Swarm, Prometheus, Grafana, AWS services for DevOps. Okay, a lot of AWS services will be covered, which will help us work in this DevOps methodologies. So that's a brief tools, that's a brief content. Any questions in this page? Any questions regarding any tools?
Swati, Linux command, you don't cover Linux here?
I'm listing here
Pretty
tools.
good.
Linux will also be covered. Okay, we'll be
Okay.
covering Linux. A majority of the tools here will be needing Linux environment. So definitely Linux basics will be covered, from the basics till the topics, whichever we need. Almost all of them will be covered, and also some shell scripting. Okay, whichever we need.
Madam, we heard some Python language is required for the DevOps point of view. Is there any such a requirement in the DevOps?
Python knowledge is good to have, okay, but it is not mandatory. Python will not be covered in the course. It's a programming language. It's a separate content.
Okay. In
Tell me, please.
Hi.
Really, how many days or how much each tool, how much time will each tool
Could
take?
not hear you, Anil. Lot of disturbance. Lot of noise is coming from your end.
Yeah, Priti, one more question. Like, I'm new to this entire tools, whatever you listed. I am into production support almost 7 years. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, is it possible for me to learn these tools and like, how can I? Is it possible or not? Like, I'm asking.
Of course, Prakash, obviously it is possible. See, like I'm saying from the beginning, every tool will take up from the basics. I assume everyone is new. I'm not considering you are a developer or you are a tester or else you have experience. I'm not considering any of your background. I have designed the course with an approach that whoever have interest to switch to DevOps, they can learn these tools. Git, what is Git? You might not know. Many of you might not know what is Git, or else some people are there who are already experienced working people. They know what is Git. But still, in our course, I make sure that we go from the basics. Like, what is Git first of all? Why do you need it? Git architecture, everything. Like I said, Git itself will take some 6 hours. We'll be spending for Git, 6 or more hours. Every tool in the same way from the basics. And also it's not just learn Git, okay, move on to Jenkins, let's just go on through each tool. No, we'll learn the tool, we'll pause there, we'll implement it in the pipeline. And also to learn certain tools, definitely Linux is required. So before learning into the tools, I'll teach you the Linux basics. Okay, so the course is designed so that anyone can learn it. Only the thing is you need to put your effort, you need to put your time.
Okay,
And
thanks.
you should have your dedication.
Madam,
Okay, Anil, question. There
which
is a
tool we
question
can
from
use for
Anil.
the?
Give me a second. There is a question from Anil Khan. How much time or days will each tool take? It depends, Anil. Some of the tools are smaller, some of the tools are huge. So it depends. Like I said, it may take some 6 hours. Okay, for Kubernetes, it may be some 2 weeks. So it all depends on the tool. But like I said, from basics till advanced concepts, so that you have to implement it in the projects. That's the main agenda, and that's the main goal of learning any tool.
Super.
Yes,
Place
Shiva, please.
Yeah, madam. Which Python? In which tool we can apply, madam? Like, if you want to learn personally.
Python application is different. I'll talk about Python applications as we progress. Okay, we don't use them in the tools. To automate certain tasks, you may use Python. I'll refer those concepts in the course. Okay.
Yeah, which
So
tool?
Preeti,
Generally, in the Ansible, Terraform, or Kubernetes.
We don't use Python in the tools. That's what I said. We don't use Python in the tools. We use Python to automate certain tasks. What are those tasks? I'll explain when we go through, when we go by. Okay. No tools uses Python here.
so Preeti, after learning this course, are we eligible for the certification like CKA, Certified Kubernetes Administrator? Are we getting enough knowledge for the certification?
We'll get the enough knowledge, like Kubernetes, any certification course if you take, the course content will be separate. Okay, there will be some separate course content, but the course we are learning will help you implement it by learning other stuff. Okay, complete certification content will not be covered here, but the content whichever we learn, with this content you can self learn and complete your certification. That way it will help you.
Okay, thank you.
Because in the certification, if you take up CKA, there will be so many Kubernetes administrative tasks, administrative things you need to do, some scenarios of Kubernetes administration. Okay, those things you need to go through. But to step into that, you cannot just step in and learn certifications right away. Here you will be learning Kubernetes, applications of Kubernetes, scenarios, what Kubernetes does, and we'll be learning, like I said, from basics. Even under Kubernetes, there is a paid service like EKS. Even those will be covered. Once you know all of them, you can self-learn your certification courses. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So that's a tools. And yeah, it's not, like I said, not just learning the tool and move on. Once we learn the tools, we'll implement this. This is the DevOps delivery pipeline. or CI/CD pipeline. You might have seen that in so many job descriptions. So see here, developers writing the code, they place the code in Git. Why they place the code in Git? What is Git? We didn't learn that. This is just a high level or a big picture of it. Okay, code is written by developers. Okay, it will be automatically pulled, built, tested, deployed by using these tools. See, build using Maven, tested where the test case might be written in Selenium, deploy using Docker, Ansible, Terraform, Kubernetes. And once it is done, monitor with Prometheus, Grafana. And once monitored, it will send the feedback to the respective teams. But what exactly it is, how to build it, how to create it, these are all the things we'll be learning. Means, see here, first, like I said, the first tool in the pipeline is Git. We'll learn Git here. We'll spend maybe a week or 6 days or 5 days here, okay, for Git. Once you learn Git, we'll be learning Maven. Once you also learn Maven, maybe this may take some couple of days, then we'll learn Jenkins. Okay, once we learn them, we'll create this pipeline till this part. Okay, then go and learn how to run test cases. Then we'll implement it. Then go and learn Docker, then implement it in the pipeline. Means we'll learn each tool and continue this pipeline. This complete pipeline creation may take almost nearly 2 months. Also, we'll create this pipeline on multiple applications. First, we'll create this pipeline using all these tools. Also, we'll see how can you create a pipeline by using all the AWS services like AWS Code Commit, okay, AWS Code Deploy, AWS Code Build, all these services. Using this service also you can create the pipeline. How is that possible also we'll learn. So once you learn the tool, you gain a lot of confidence to handle, to attend the interviews, to crack them and to work in their project. Let's suppose you already in DevOps projects or else you are migrating into DevOps. This will help you to apply them. Okay, see here, everything is automation. Initially, like I said, for the first time you may be creating it. Okay, more people may be needing to create this pipeline, integrate all the tools, a Docker in integration with Jenkins, Ansible and Terraform working together. Using Terraform, we can create a Kubernetes EKS cluster. All of them will be done via the pipeline. It would be really interesting and challenging. So this is the complete lesson.
Preeti, I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, tell me please.
What is the alternative for Maven? So because I have it, I know a little bit of tools that you mentioned, like Terraform, Grafana, Kubernetes, and all that. Maven is not something I heard about.
Maven alternative are and Gradle. Okay, these are all some of the alternative tools for Maven. But like I said, if you learn one tool under the category, you can self-learn other tools or else you can switch to the other tools very easily because the concepts would be similar. Means like I said, if you know Git, you can very easily work on SVN if you have to. But Git is very widely used, so majority of the projects are using it. Same is the case with any other tool.
Yeah, correct. And another thing, I am a big fan of Azure over AWS. I know cloud computing, it's almost same. The names are different, and the approach will be a little different. How comfortable can it be after this course to implement this learning onto Azure?
First thing is, like I just now mentioned, right? First, we'll create the CI/CD pipeline using the tools. Using the tools, we'll create this pipeline. Please keep muted. Shiva, please keep muted. So we will be creating this pipeline using these tools. Okay, this approach is same whether you implement in AWS or whether you implement in Azure or GCP or any cloud for that matter or on premise. Okay, this approach is same. Okay, first we'll do this. Means you can also implement in Azure. And then secondly, we'll be also creating this pipeline using AWS services like Code Commit, Code Deploy, and so on. So yeah, so this is for AWS, but this pipeline creation with all the tools you can apply on any platform. Only the difference will be if you want to create a pipeline on Azure, you can implement the tools. or else there you may have to implement some Azure services like we use AWS. That's where the difference comes in. But again, the difference, like I said, it would be like a minimal. You can just self-explore and use them.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. And almost my questions are done. One more I'm left with. We have different tools, and you have a plan of 6 hours for one particular tool, and maybe something like that for the other tools. Imagine if there is some slow learner, and if he's stuck somewhere, and your plan is ahead of his learning. How do you try to cope up with a guy like that?
See, there were different learners, right? They may be having their own pace of learning, but here what are we doing for that, so that we should all go together? We are every day recording will be provided, and I want to make sure that every one of my student will be doing the hands-on on the given assignments. Every person should be working on the assignment before they come to the next day. I also would like to keep a track on it, so I'll be creating a WhatsApp group with all the participants. Okay, you should be completing your work and posting in the group. The importance of this WhatsApp group is, if you are learning as an individual, at some point, like you said, you may be slow at some points, you may be lagging there, you may lose motivation, right? You may lose your motivation, you may get diverted. So to stay motivated till the end of the course, this course we are going as a with a dedication for 2 months. I need all of your dedication, all of your efforts. We work together to success in this DevOps. Okay, so there is a group where you can post your queries, where you have to post your updates, so that I'll be keep on tracking the progress of every individual. Okay, that's one way. If you are stuck up anywhere, you can watch the recording, get back to me with the queries in the previous day or in WhatsApp, so that you just cope up with the classes. Still, let's say you are still lagging behind, you can also take up the missed classes. Means you can just put those classes on hold. Those classes you can retake on the upcoming batches. That is also possible. Some of the tools, there may not be dependent, like let's suppose you building running test cases may not be dependent on Docker. Suppose you are lacking in the test case execution part, you can keep it on hold, you can continue with the Docker part, okay, so that you don't lose the pace, and you can come back to the pending parts again in the coming up sessions if you want, or else watch the recordings, get back to me, I'm there to help you. So that's how we proceed.
Yeah, well, last question. I won't bother anyone anymore. The lab setup that we are going to work on, is that from the training institution, or we set up on our computers?
Lab setup will be done on your personal pieces. Okay, I'll talk about the lab setup now. So any more questions?
Madam, how many services
Thanks
will
for
cover, madam, for AWS?
Let me give me 5 minutes, please. I'll take up all the questions in a while. There is one more thing I have to talk about, the lab setup. Here we were working on the tools, right? Today it's a theoretical part because it's a first day introduction. Tomorrow on, we are going to start Git. But how do you install Git? Where do you install Git? How do you have your lab setup? Isn't it? So the complete lab setup will be done on your personal computers, on your laptop. Means you can use your PC to work on, because these complete tool set, complete tools will be installed on AWS instances. Okay, we'll be creating a free account on AWS. Okay, on the how to create a free account on AWS, what is this AWS account, everything I'll help you with. So I'll help you creating an AWS instances on your AWS account, so that you can connect to the lab anytime and work on it. How to do that, I'll be helping you with every step, one after the other. Okay, so and some of you are asking some time back, I think Vishal, are you there? You are talking about Linux, right? How do you have a Linux? Do you want to install Linux on your system? You don't need to install Linux on your system. Like I said, I'll help you creating a free AWS account. On this AWS account, we'll create Linux instances. What is this Linux instance and all? I'll help you. Don't worry. So you'll connect to that instance and work on from your local computer, your laptop, maybe Windows or Mac, whatever it is. So majority of our lab will be on AWS. That is again an advantage, because companies are looking for an experience or an exposure to AWS. okay, which is any cloud, which is very important nowadays, so that you also get exposed to this cloud environment. So that's how the lab, how to install Git, how to have Linux, everything I'll be helping you with. You don't need to worry, or you need not set up on your own. I'll be helping you with all the kind of setup. And yeah, I'm repeating again, this is the pipeline we'll be creating in our course on multiple applications. But to create it, you cannot jump in and do it. So first we'll start working, learning Git tomorrow. What is a version control system? What is this? Why do we need it? Who uses it? Architecture of Git, then the complete hands-on. Every tool will go in the same sequence. So that is all for today, the demo class. I'll be sharing you this presentation with you for reference. Okay, you can post your email IDs in the chat window so that I can share these presentations and coming up references, documentation. Everyday class recordings will be provided, and also the complete notes will be available on Drive. The complete Drive access will be given to you. See here, for every tool, complete notes is there on the Google Drive, including interview questions, everything will be shared. Okay, this is the notes, and the class recordings will be shared after the class. Share your
And
email IDs, and any more questions now, you can please go ahead with your questions.
what's configuration system configuration required for this?
Just the minimal normal configuration is enough. You don't have to have any special configurations. Just a normal which you use for daily life, personal purpose is enough.
Okay.
Preeti,
Because
can you
like
please
I
go
said,
back to
we don't
the
do
previous
anything on Git.
presentation?
Tell me please.
Can you please go back to the previous presentation? Where you have explained the complete flow. Yes. This AWS and Terraform together you will take how you are planning to take, like from the continuous deployment onwards, AWS will come into the picture and Terraform like
Continuous deployment it comes on, because continuous deployment means where do you deploy? On some servers, isn't it? How do you create those servers? Those servers will be automated via Terraform. Means we don't create AWS instances manually. Terraform will create those deployment instances on AWS. So once instances are ready, on that we'll deploy using Docker.
Okay, what's the course duration, like the AWS and Terraform?
Course duration will be 2 months.
No, in that 2 months duration, how many days we will spend on Terraform and AWS?
Terraform maybe some 7 hours or so for Terraform, and AWS services, I'm not teaching all of them in one stretch or in one go. Okay, let's suppose tomorrow we are going to once we are creating AWS instances, I'll explain EC2 service, security groups and all, and then we'll proceed. And once you go to Kubernetes, we'll be using EKS of AWS. Then we'll talk about EKS service, auto scaling groups, load balancers. That's how it is split across. Maybe again again all the pipeline is there, so maybe some 10 hours of AWS. You check the content, okay? You can just go through the content of the AWS topics, whatever I'm covering, and that will help you more.
Yeah, thank you. And I have another question related to the AWS.
నేను
Are we also going to cover?
అవసరం నేను ఏడున్నా కదా ఇక్కడ పెట్టుకొని కూర్చోడా.
Please, one by one, please go one by one, please.
Yeah, the question is, are we going to cover in AWS like the optimization part, cost optimization?
Cost optimization, billing, those will not be covered. Okay, we'll be covering the things to implement it in the pipeline.
Okay, thank you.
May I know your name?
I am Divakar.
Okay. Any more questions from anyone?
Madam, like to know about the AWS services, how many are going to cover, madam?
How many of AWS services will be covered?